Okay, well, it's great to see everybody again, and thank you for participating. And I encourage you to stay very focused because you're about to hear some really interesting remarks from Ann Stern, who gave me permission to give her the short version of the introduction, so we leave time for her remarks. I've known Ann a very long time, as many of you have. She served as president and CEO of Houston Endowment since 2012, leading a team of dedicated experts who focus with an eye toward equity of opportunity and community-centered solutions. And under her leadership, the endowment directs more than $100 million each year towards its priority focus areas of strengthening public education, increasing civic engagement, supporting Houston's art and culture sector, enhancing green space, and responding to emerging opportunities and challenges in the region. A common thread in their grant making is a deep commitment to sustainable change while remaining nimble enough to address emerging high impact opportunities that arise, as we all have seen over the past number of years. Ann is a native Houstonian who began her career in private practice. I think many of you know she had a distinguished career over at Texas Children's Hospital, wrapping up as an EVP before she came over to Houston Endowment. As I said, I've known Ann a very long time. As co-conveners, we saw her leadership once again in helping to prepare for this effort. That was not a surprise to any of us who have known her. And I will just wrap up so we leave her with adequate time to say that, as I think most of you know, Ann is getting ready to step away from Houston Endowment, but I hope stay engaged in the community while enjoying whatever that next phase is. But it's been my experience that she brings that really unique combination of a robust intellect and a deep sense of humanity to her role. And this community's been blessed by that combination. So let's give a little extra applause as we bring Ann up to the stage.
Whatever works.
Got that. Am I using this or this?
Whichever you prefer. Which one do you prefer?
I don't want that. Thank you. Thank you all. Now I got to figure this out. Sorry. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone in this room for being here today, for showing up for your community, for bringing your time and your talent to this incredibly important topic, and for thinking about our city's future. It's obvious that everyone here cares deeply about this issue, and this summit represents something so powerful. It represents the way Houston comes together across sectors, across geographies, across ideologies, to understand problems and co-create solutions, and that's the Houston way. There may be no more urgent question today for this region than this one. How do we provide economic mobility for everyone in Greater Houston? So this is a really important convening. At Houston Endowment, we see firsthand how this issue cuts across everything we support, from strengthening public education, to getting people out to vote, to helping people on their own paths to citizenship. Economic mobility is the clearest measure of our impact, and even if we don't have the perfect metric, it is the ultimate goal. Because when people are trying to get by, when they're just worrying about rent and food and childcare, or finding a job that allows them to live with dignity, it's nearly impossible to think beyond the day-to-day. Their hope fades, they lose faith in systems that are meant to serve them. And when hope disappears for many people in our community, that's bad for all of us. We all feel the effects. Trust erodes. Where there was connection, there's disengagement. Where we once united around common values, we grow divided. And we risk losing the very things that make Houston so strong. That's why economic mobility isn't just one of a long list of issues we care about. It's the foundation that makes everything else possible. And we will only be successful at creating pathways to economic mobility, especially for the most vulnerable among us, if we do it together. Houston Endowment's founder, Jesse Jones, understood this so well. He believed that for Houston to prosper, to truly prosper, that opportunity must be available to everyone, not just the few. So in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, he and his wife, Mary Gibbs Jones, funded local scholarships, and always with an eye to equity. That meant equal numbers of scholarships for men and women, and in a very deeply segregated South, equal numbers of scholarships to Black and to white schools. He built affordable homes for families and introduced the 20-year mortgage to make them accessible. That was a new concept at the time. He built coalitions, public, private, local, and federal, to move the needle on big challenges. In what may be his boldest and most far-reaching move, he brought together an unprecedented public-private partnership to dredge the Houston Ship Channel, a port 50 miles from the ocean, turning a muddy bayou into an economic engine that still fuels growth, opportunity, and jobs for our region. That took vision, alignment of a myriad of interests, and a whole lot of commitment. Now, in Jesse Jones's day, one man had the ability to convene the community and achieve ambitious goals. Our community today is vastly more complex. Our leadership is more fragmented. And that's not a bad thing, but it means that progress will take a coalition of strong civic leadership from public, private, and nonprofit sectors, from everyone who cares about the future of our region. That certainly includes everyone in this room. For challenges like this, no single person or organization has the answer. It takes all of us. But the good news is, we're in Houston. We have the talent. We have the will. We have the institutions. All of our institutions bring different skills, passions, ways of working. And that diversity can be a strength as we navigate this challenge, but only if we can find ways to pull in the same direction. That doesn't mean giving up our missions or abandoning what makes each of our organizations unique or distinctive. It means contributing it to something bigger. So as we close out this summit, I want to leave us with one simple, but I think powerful idea, and that is, we've done this before. Not this exact thing, not the full tangle of barriers and systems that define economic mobility, but problems just as daunting. We've proven that we're good at coming together, each playing our part, when the moment calls for it. We all think about Hurricane Harvey in that way, don't we? Neighbors rescued neighbors, government led the emergency response, and countless organizations across this city extended that capacity, filled gaps, stood up new systems that still serve families today. Houston Strong became a rallying cry, symbolizing our city's resilience, compassion, and determination to rebuild together. Think about our city's approach to homelessness. Just over a decade ago, Houston had one of the largest unsheltered populations in the country. The system was fragmented, people were falling through the cracks. There was no shared strategy, and the problem, frankly, felt completely intractable. Then a window of opportunity opened. Houston was formally identified as one of the worst cities in the country for homelessness and became one of 10 US cities to receive federal funding to address the issue. This city seized that moment and drove change that wasn't possible before. It became a mayoral priority. Organizations across sectors began collaborating. A lead coordinating entity, Coalition for the Homeless, helped service providers identify clear roles, ensured they had the right resources, and used real-time data to monitor progress. It took funding, yes, but it also required support beyond the dollars. It took expertise, it took convening power, and it took capacity building. The result, a 60% reduction in homelessness, over 25,000 people permanently housed, and Houston received national recognition for how to get this right. That didn't happen by chance or from a bunch of ad hoc efforts across this region. It happened because of sustained, intentional, systemic collaboration, work that continues today. And finally, think about our parks and bios. Decades ago, I was here, Houston was a city of concrete. The reflection pool at Herman Park was known as the Mud Hole. Buffalo Bio hosted the Reeking Regatta. And today, Houston is a national model for connected urban green spaces and parks, with our beautiful biosystem as the backbone. That transformation did not happen overnight. It took research and data to show that a quality environment was essential to our city's future. It took an aligned vision. It took coordination between government, nonprofits, business, developers, and philanthropy, many of whom are in this room. And it worked, not because everyone did the same thing, but because each played their part in imagining and executing what was possible. These examples, Hurricane Harvey, homelessness, parks and green spaces, are a great illustration of how Houston works best, like a biosystem. Our bios are not one channel, they're a network of networks. Each one responds to its own unique conditions, but they're connected parts of the same larger system. What happens upstream impacts everything downstream. Just like our civic systems, no single organization owns this work. But when we understand how our efforts flow together and when we act in concert, we can create something so much more powerful than what any of us can do alone. And that's exactly what we need now. Because expanding economic mobility is just as dependent on our ability to pull together as one interconnected network, with every partner bringing their unique strengths to the table, whether that's capital, data, expertise, relationships, or lived experience. That's how Houston works best. In each example, there was a moment. There was a moment when the landscape shifted, when a window of opportunity opened. Federal funding became available, or a new administration made it a priority, or a natural disaster forced a different kind of cooperation. And by being here today, we are opening that window. We are laying the groundwork for what is possible. So if anyone leaves here today wondering whether we can really shift the trajectory of economic mobility in Houston, let me say this plainly. Yes, we can. Because when Houston aligns across ideologies, across sectors, across the aisle, we do extraordinary things. Over the past 2 days, you've taken a hard look at data. You've started to identify key levers with the potential to move us forward. So now it's time to seize this window of opportunity. It will be hard work. It will require long-term collective action. It will take trade-offs, transparency, trust, but we know the way. So let's build on the energy we've created here. Right now, Houston ranks among the worst major metros for poverty, for economic mobility. And that is really hard to hear, but it should motivate us, not paralyze us. So I'll leave you with a quote. This is from a Texas Monthly article about Houston's remarkable transformation in parks and green spaces. And I think it illustrates the optimism our city is known for. The quote is, "Houston is really great at going from worst to first." So let's do it. It's not just a rallying cry. It's a mindset, a shared belief that no matter the scale of the challenge, we face it together with resilience, with determination, with imagination, because we are optimistic. I can feel that in the room. We're scrappy. We got grit. And much like our bios, we keep moving and we get things done. So let's prove that once more by making sure everyone in Houston can access the future they dream of, that they deserve for themselves, for their families, and for future generations, and for all of us. Let's be the national model. We've done it so many times, we can do it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for your inspiring words and your incredible leadership at the Houston Endowment. I was one of those individuals who received one of the Mary Gibbs Jones Scholarship for Women. It was a critical survival tool for me as I navigated the rising cost of tuition at my alma mater. And I would not be here today without the support of the Houston Endowment. So personally, thank you. And representing all of us at United Way and all of our neighbors, thank you for your incredible leadership. Whew, okay, before I get too emotional. Also, thank all of you. What an incredible couple of days we've had here. I think we are all leaving inspired, motivated. We are all going to get together again, I think, based on the polling we just did. But to Raj, Sarah, Rich, Flavio, and the incredible team of co-conveners who put so much heart and soul and just good old-fashioned hard work into getting this together. Thank you so much for all that you did to bring us together in this incredible convening. Next steps for us are the co-convening team that assembled this gathering. We're going to be looking at the outcomes of the last 2 days, and we will be determining next steps on what the shared agenda on economic mobility could look like going forward. So please be on the lookout for an email recapping the summit. We'll send an email summarizing what was also shared during the table talk. So thanks also to each of you who helped facilitate those incredible discussions over the last 2 days. This will take all of us. I think we are all grounded enough in reality to know that. This is not something that we can assign to, one or two organizations. It really will take all of us. But united is the way that we can help everyone in our community thrive. And thanks to every single one of you for being part of that journey. Thank you, and hope you have a great rest of your day.